some technical difficulties with another phone. So fortunately, we have a number of phones that we keep here that we don't get rid of any old things. We just keep all of the iterations as things come and go. So good morning. No problem. We're back and back in the saddle again. Talk about good songs. Jeez. And so here we are once again talking about morning ritual for guitar growth. We find ourselves with the guitar in hand. Jill, good morning. There you are. Good morning. Wild Boar, we are here. That's an excellent thing to hear, man. That's an excellent thing to hear. So Jill, good morning. I have a bourgeois guitar here that I need to get a few more. I need to get a few more pieces of film done, and so our weekend was spent making casseroles. Let's say making casseroles for neighbors who could benefit from that. So we spent the entire weekend trying to pump out the goodness, and so we got a little bit behind the game here, but let me tell you a little bit. It's something it doesn't really have anything to do with the morning ritual, but it has to do with the way we spend our days, our lives. When we're not playing the guitar, we are actually, I did a mini documentary about, I've been working on a project. It's, and it's not really one, I don't talk about it a lot, but I did a short film about mental illness. And I know it's such a tough thing to talk about. And for so many reasons. It's called Make the Casserole. And, my neighbor was sick with a terminal illness. We typically will tend to bring them a casserole and say, hey, we're neighborly and we're sorry. But then if that same neighbor has a mental illness diagnosis, it's like, no, thank you. And so we've worked with a number of people and over the past year and a half, couple of years, I guess. One of which is a great, well-known writer, and he speaks openly about his mental illness. You never know he was suffering in that way, and he goes for electric shock therapy and all of the stuff. But so we definitely want to try to pay attention wherever we can, wherever it makes sense, without injury to ourselves, of course. So anyway, back to the grind. Let's get back to the grind of the guitar. I'm really happy that you're here. We also have, I wanted to change out something else today too. So I don't know, we've got something in the box that we'll check out in a few minutes. But I think it's a good idea to get going first. And especially since I'm running a little bit late this morning. Didn't anticipate this situation, so, but we're working with it. I guess if how do you feel about, I'm just curious. We've been wondering a little bit about this on our end here, the small little team that we have. How would you respond to these morning rituals? And I would appreciate honesty, like complete honesty. Would it have the same value or impact if these morning rituals were pre-recorded and then run live? That doesn't have the same impact, does it? Or does it? Maybe it would be better. But you don't have to respond at all, obviously, but you don't have to respond now. My initial, what I'm hoping to collect here is from you've been here for a while now, and I'm kind of looking for your knee-jerk reaction, your immediate sort of emotional reaction, because that's what I'm trying to understand. So I don't know if you saw my, I don't know if you got a chance to see the Solar video, but Solar the other day, I had Solar was up and running. And Solar, it's by Miles Davis. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of music. And it's a really important minor blues pattern. It's sort of one of those things that we all must know. So I arranged it, a simple version where we have, you know, we understand the song form, the structure, the chords, and then the bass line. And then the melody at the top of the bass line, and we're trying to play everything together, and just work on just understanding the guitar in multiple dimensions at the same time. But I got looking back at the video after it posted, and nobody caught that there's like a little white dot on the guitar. So if you go back and you look at the video, like, I don't know about you, but that kind of stuff really, really annoys me, especially if it's preventable, you know? So we didn't see it, and nobody caught it, and so it went through, and I'm looking at the guitar right here, and that white dot is still on the guitar. So it'd almost be better to have a sticker over it, and I don't know if it's like a little piece of lint or dust or whatever, or if it's a notch in the guitar, and I'm not going to check it out now, because if it's damaged, I'll probably shed a tear. Lost in a Room. Yeah, I've been there, done that. In a tent. A tune to D, A, E, A, C sharp, E. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, wonderful tuning. Like an A add 4 tuning. That's a beautiful tuning. Jill has a we have a respondent here. We have not the same, in my opinion. That's what I'm looking for, Jill. That's my knee-jerk reaction too. There's a ton of pre-recorded content out. Got it. Okay. That's all we needed to hear. I'll carry that back. That's an important piece. I tend to watch whether I see live or as video. It's 4:30 a.m. for us West Coasters. Oh, Mr. Boar, the wild boar. She was just another notch on my guitar, reminded me of Robert Cray's lyric. Ah, yeah, gotta love the Cray. I remember the Cray being a huge part of my my early upbringing, you know. And there's the first chord of let's see, it's the first chord of chord chemistry right there. E minor major 9 over D sharp. Our first experience. So fingers 3 and 4 on frets 10 and 12. And welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason, your host. Turbo Christ. Wow, 007. Got it. I feel like I'm sort of like all over the place this morning. So one of the things I like to do in order to sort of center around warming up with the guitar is just take a good couple of breaths and be mindful of the breath. How are these 3 and 4s going for you when you get down to position number 1? Are they getting pretty, are they getting any better, or are they still sort of feeling like your hand's coming apart on you? I'm just curious. And we're using fingers 3 and 4, going through our 2-finger nuggets, the 2-finger nugs. And we're doing that now, and we're starting with, we'll go ahead and get back to it with fingers 2 and 3 in just one moment, after Uncle Jason sets up the live chat on another mobile screen. There we go. We'll go ahead and get back to it with fingers 2 and 3 in just one moment. There we go. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. All right. I don't want to place an emergency call. After Uncle Jason. There we go. That's what I want to do. I just want to skip ahead to live. If you're here, if you wouldn't mind double tapping the screen, that'd be super. You know, sure, give us a like. And 1E ended, 2E ended, TE ended, 4 at quarter of, in 2 more minutes, we're going to see what's in the box. We've got a box here that's got something, a surprise thing in it. I haven't explored it yet, but it's kind of a cool thing to look at, especially if you're, you know, into what this thing is. Let me just get this phone. You can tell the fail. We had a piece of technology fail this morning, and you can tell when we have a piece of technology go down, it's like, it's just, you know, it changes the entire morning. So we're here from, well, I'm here every weekday morning from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and this is basically just a warm-up, a morning ritual for guitar growth. But I have a box this morning sitting right next to me. I'm going to get into it in the next couple minutes, and we're going to see what's in the box. And we're going to see if it'll work for what I hope it will work for. So fingers 1 and 2, same 10 and 12, same finger stretch. I always loved the way Mr. Carey would sort of switch the pick. You know how when a Strat has a 5-way selector switch. I always loved it when he was playing in the middle pickup, just on the middle pickup, and then using his fingers to kind of like make that thing squawk. You'd swear he was in air traffic control. You know, you'd swear with all that squawking he was air traffic control. But what a great tone! What a great nasally tone and quirky. It's like Jeff Beck if he had had like a few cups, you know, maybe 8 or 9 cups of espresso, right? And if he was a blues player. Marco's in the house. Marco, good morning. We're talking fingers. We're stretching right now. I guess we've got to get the stretch in. So join me for a quick stretch. We're going to get into the box right here. We've got a surprise box, and it could be fun for you. It'll be certainly something new to look at. And so stick around. It's just going to happen in just a moment. I've got this 2-measure stretch on each thing going. So we're at the metronome is here. I've got my metronome, which is featured in every morning ritual for guitar growth. This one's it's the old model. I have a new model linked for purchase if you need, a metronome. This one's been beat up. Get some hockey tape on it to try to keep it together. You know what I mean. You're wrapping your stick and your handle with it. So one of the things that we do is we do these stretches every 15 minutes. And during this stretch, we're going to get into the mystery box. I've got a mystery box right here. So we want to stick around because it's going to be kind of, I don't know, you can help me see if it's going to work for me or if it's going to work for us. It's more of a, an aesthetic thing maybe, who knows. But feel free to share your opinions. And I know some of you have no problem sharing your opinions, and I know others are more reserved and calculate others' feelings previous to sharing, opinion. But I know some of us don't have any problem with that. So please feel free to be honest, and suggestions are always welcome. Critiques, I guess. Critiques, constructive. We just had I don't have many haters, fortunately, on the channel, but I just had a hater on like one of the Althea shorts, and like I couldn't believe like he went out of his way to be like a troll, like a hater, and I'm thinking, Man, if you're living your life to be a hater on the internet, I guess he's living his best life, right? So it's time, anyway, it's time to get in the box. All right, so what's in the box? You can probably see a little bit of what's going on. And mystery box could be a boat. Box isn't quite that big, but it could be a boat. It could be a model boat. Wild boar. Marco, that's you, Marco. Good. Totally. He had that snappy, clacky strat. Oh, he did, man. I do not know that. I did not know that, though. Interesting. So, oh, you're lost in a room. You're still here? You're still here. All right, let me just address that again. So thank you for revisiting that tuning. That's a great tuning, so thank you very much. I've got this thing in here, and I've got a packaging sheet, and you won't be able to see it, but it's a hat. It's a hat. Imagine I'd make you wait for a hat, but here's the mesh. It's a sort of a trucker hat, so you can tie your hair up, your ponytail, and kind of, you know how people do that. You fit it through there. It looks kind of cool. I used to be able to do that, but I can't anymore. But here's it's backwards for you, and I'm sorry it's backwards. I've been talking with YouTube about getting this fixed for live stream, and we'll figure it out eventually. But it's Happy Picking Hat, and underneath it says Jason Carey Guitar, and the sticker is still on it. I guess the sticker under the visor is there still. I was thinking about trying it on, but before we do that, lost in a room. Yeah, you ever been lost in a tent? I have an Everest tent, right? And I've been lost in that thing before. All right, let's see if this is even going to come close. Does this work? Does it work at all? Let's see. The visor's a little bent. I'm not a big fan of the bent visor. I used to reef on my visors so that they were really curly and curved. And then my boy was playing baseball for a lifetime, and they all wore their hats with a straight visor. And I used to think that, man, they're a bunch of losers. But now I prefer it with a straight bill. I just think it feels good. Yippa. That's right, you got it transposed. Salutations from Planet Z. Good morning, Harry. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just going to leave it there. But thanks for being here. And the Happy Picking Hat is, it's kind of a cool little thing. You can see my my grandkids who broke my glasses, and I don't run out and buy. I'm not a consumer, so I don't. If I have a piece of tape kicking around, I'll use that. And if I find another pair of clicks that I see that I like or that work my reading angles, then I'll grab them. But I don't run around and consume stuff. So this is kind of a big deal for me. I don't typically consume the things, but I think it's okay. We'll see what it looks like under real lights, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm one of those blokes who hang out with musicians. I'm a drummer. Yeah, there you go. Well, you know all the jokes, that's for sure. I mean, so you're a bloke, so you're European, you're British. You're British. Is that your disposition right there? Yeah, got your umbrella ready to go for the day. Great to have you here, man. Great to have you here. Well, I just talked about trolls this morning, right? Didn't I just cover that? I just covered how we're happy to not have a whole lot of trolls, and then all of a sudden, look what's going on. Aussie, all right, mate. Yeah, all right. All right, let's get going. So you're here for morning ritual for guitar growth, are you? Well, let me not keep you from that. We started with 2 fingers, and then we're using oh, I guess we are moving beyond because we're running way late today. So I'm going to go right into the 3-finger workouts. 1 E and a 2, fingers 2, 3, and 4 on 10, 11, 12. Here we go. I think the hat feels it feels good. It feels sort of stiff. It doesn't feel like broken in. I do like the stretchy fit, but I kind of do like the fact that this feels a lot lighter than the other hat. So I like the lightness of it. But I think in the end, right, it's got to feel good. It's got to look good. I think if when we travel a little bit with mountaineers, and the mountaineers, we live like dirtbags, right? We just kind of live in the van until we get to the next place. We'll go and shower and bathe at the Y or Planet Fitness, wherever we have a membership to. And then we'll show up at the crag or at the hill or at the climb, and then we'll just kind of crawl out of the van and get into the environment, which is where we want to be. And then so once we get a few miles in, several miles in, days in, none of it is about vanity. Of course, it's all about mitigating risk and understanding route finding, and general travel, by foot, and all of those different problems that we don't typically tend to solve for every day. You know what I mean? The conversation comes up. Well, if you can do it in style doesn't really matter as long as the job gets done. But if you can do it in style, why not, Do you know the old school French technique, like the French pointing technique with the alpenstock? Yeah? Are you doing it with your Norwegian wool knit sweater and your wool knickers and your long your knicker socks? Do you know how to do that? Yeah, cool. Can you do it in that style? Sure. Can you maintain good form? Yes. Are we all going to survive the event? Yes. Then do it in style. But I think it's, form, I think, is an important piece of what's going on. So that reminds me to just keep checking my breath. Keep checking my breath, and then keep my back strong, my abdomen, my tummy tucked. And these are daily reminders that I have to, even though I've been playing for a long, long time, these are things that I still have to check in with and remind myself. But that's okay. That's okay. Just what happens. Yeah, all right. Fingers 1 and 3, 1 and 2 and 4. 1, 2, T, go. Oh, lost in a room. I understand. I'm not good at playing with a metronome. I just realized I'm missing some of these comments here. Boy, good morning. Boy T, good morning. My fingers are too to even think of that. I just keep time. You can do the magic. Investing. Well, I appreciate you being here, Mr. Muff. Nice talking to you, mate. Yeah, I know spell check just kind of gets us every time. I hope you're practicing. You could practice. You could, if you want, if you're hanging out. I do have some drummers. So a good friend of mine, Scott K. Fish, was on this channel before, and he did that famous. If you're a drummer, you'd be interested in this. He was actually here on this channel during a morning ritual. Some of you might remember. You might recall. He was the previous managing editor to Modern Drummer magazine, and he did the April '84. That's sort of like the real banger interview with Neil Peart, Mr. Neil Peart. You probably never heard of Neil Peart, but he's a drummer from a band called Rush. and just a great guy. And he was here talking about it. This kind of live stream it's not sort of limited to, you know, one dimension of instrumentation. You could be a drummer and you could get your sticks out and your practice pad out and you could practice the rudiments alongside this kind of thing. So we have drummers showing up and practicing with us. We have guitar players from all over the planet, and it's oh, 45, of course I've heard of Neil. Yeah, Mr. Peart. Yeah, I guess they were pretty good. They were pretty good friends. He'd go visit him in his home in Montreal. You could go and check out Scott K. Fish right here on YouTube, and you'll see some of those interviews. So a lot of people got a kick out of reading the magazines, of course. But what he did is before he was managing editor, so he'd do all of the setup and all of it'd take months. They'd have multiple issues on the table at once and in you know, running the magazine stuff. But everybody got used to reading the words, but he taped all of his interviews, so he's like re-releasing all of those interviews on his YouTube channel, the audio files. And so when you actually, most drummers are really familiar with that April '84 issue. And it was a cover article and everything. And most people are familiar with that article and that interview, but when they go back and they hear Scott, Mr. Fish, and Mr. Peart go back and forth unedited, it's like, you know, people, you know, there are some people who are really enjoying that. So just checking him out would be awesome. He'd love it. He'd love to have you say hi, I'm sure, especially if you're a drummer. It's called, he has a blog called Life After the Cymbals, or Life Beyond the Cymbals. It's really, really great. He's a super writer. We've written a few songs together, and just a super human being, right? Just a great guy. And 1 E and a 2 fingers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on 9, 10, 11, and 12. So yeah, he said, if you're a drummer, you show up here, grab your pad, you know, grab your Remo pad or your little rubber pad or whatever in the sticks, and just play along. But it's an hour of investment in the self. It's an hour of, you know, back and forth in the live chat. And I wanted to, if Lost in a Room is still here, I don't know if I lost in a Room yet, but the last in another 15 minutes, we're going to go ahead and tune to that alternate tuning. So if you're going to stick around, let me know if you hear it or not, and then we'll go ahead and, like I said, if you're still here at 8:15, in another 15 minutes, we'll go ahead and shift our tuning. But if you're not, I've got another plan for the last 15 minutes. But if you're still here, that open tuning is worth checking out. So just let me know. Play some Scuttlebutt. Oh. Oh, not you. Yeah, it's Scuttlebutt it's a good one. Scuttlebutt, man. What about Stevie Ray? What is it about Stevie Ray Vaughan that drew you to his artistry? What is it about Stevie Ray Vaughan that distinguishes him from other guitar players? Like, just a real quick knee-jerk reaction. I have my own thoughts about that. I'll share my own thoughts, but I don't want to bias anyone. I'm sure my thoughts are consistent with what you're thinking. Hey Marco, were you here when Scott was on this channel? Mr. Fish was on the channel. He came over to the dog room. We were in the dog room. Remember when we were in the dog room? Oh my God. Doggerma on Jason's farm. Oh my God, we've had a journey for sure. I've got to start doing some more invites and inviting more people. But like I said, this is a morning ritual for guitar growth, focusing on warming up with the guitar. And we're doing this for the entire year, right? From January to the end of December. So I took a snapshot. I've obviously been recording all of these, and I make these all available on demand after the fact. So this will run live. We keep all of the live chat intact, and then it becomes video on demand. So you could go back under my live tab and rewatch any pieces of this that you wanted to revisit at any time you'd like, at your own leisure, in the privacy of your own wherever, right? But Mr. Fish was here, or somewhere around here, right? He came over, but we'd taken that first video, the last video, and we're going to see what 260 hours does for technique, for physique, for mental prowess, for mental durability, for, was it resiliency? How did the tone change? We have a whole rubric, a whole stack of things we are going to observe that changed longitudinally from the beginning of the session, the year, to the end of the year. And I've never seen anybody glorify what warming up can actually do for the practitioner. So I've never seen it. I've only heard folklore and folk stories about this will, if you do this, then that, right? But I've never seen the proof, never seen it. So this is the whole idea, is to take this story from the entire year and just really fold it into a meaningful response of how we compare and contrast the beginning video and the last video. It's very simple. So Marco and Zach, you guys must know each other. All right, so here we go. Let's get back to it. Fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And instead of 4 attacks per beat, I seem to be at 6 attacks per beat. But you are more than welcome to do 4 attacks per beat, 5 attacks per beat, 3 attacks per 2, 1. It's harder for me to do 1 attack per beat and get right on the click because there's so much space from one note to the next. And it's a little easier when we begin subdividing that. Have another touch point which we can use to calculate the arrival at each tone. So here's 3 attacks per beat. And then we'll go back to 4 attacks per beat. And then 5 attacks per beat. I saw Wayne's name. And then 6 attacks per beat. Let me see if we can do 6. Did you ever do that scale? Let me show you this real quick. I know we're not in really, let's do it in C real quick. So we're starting with C, E, G, C, right? We're going upper neighbor, half step, down, lower neighbor half step, and then back to the place from whence we came. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I see we got a bromance going on here in the live chat. I'm one of those blokes who hangs out with music. Okay, I gotcha. All right, I'm way behind here. The metronome. Oh, sorry about. I missed you. Life in the room or whatever. Sorry. Hey, maybe we can keep this. Let's keep this. Hope maybe we can just keep this kind of nice. You know what I mean? You have the upper neighbor, lower neighbor, and then the root note, and then upper neighbor, and then we from the root, and then the 3, the 5, and then the root. So we're using upper, lower, and then upper, lower around the 3rd, and then upper, lower around the 5th, and upper, lower around the root note. Yeah? Cool. It's really kind of a cool little thing, little trick that you can do with a gypsy guitar. All right, let's go ahead and get back to 9, 10, 11, and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a 4 attacks per beat, and just working it. But we'll use this 4th finger stretch at the moment here. Believe love. Believe love. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah. Morning, M. Fish. So what are we doing? I'm not really sure what just happened in that live chat, but I've got to address it. So, you know, I'm willing to lose friends over things, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to demand that we treat each other with respect in this live chat, or we'll be sitting timeout, right? I'm not sure what's happening or what happened, but that will no longer happen on this live chat. Just laying down the rules, just the guidelines, just keeping it very simple. That if you come here, you can expect to talk about guitar, morning ritual guitar stuff, and you can share questions relating and commentary relating directly to the morning ritual or morning warm-up. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. We'll keep it that way. So 1 E and a 2. We're doing the same 1, 2, 3, 4, but on 1st finger stretch, we're kicking it back to 8, 10, 11, and 12. This is the kickstand. So 1 E and a 2, T E and a 4 E and a Corporal Clog, Mr. Clog. Why do chords that shouldn't work sometimes? That's a great question. That's a wonderful question. Let's expand on that as we start shifting our gears into the last 10 or 15 minutes of this session. So we're going to start by just getting through this 1, 2, 3, 4, the kickstand exercise. And I really appreciate you, Stampy Dragon. Good morning. Good morning. Sky Animate. Where's Kevin? Kevin will be. That's a great question. Wonderful to hear you say that, and he'll be thrilled to hear you. He couldn't make it today, but he informed me he will be back tomorrow, and looking forward to having him back with us tomorrow. What a great thing to ask, Sky. Very cool. That's a great T-shirt. Where's Kevin? You just got a new T-shirt for us, right? Very cool. What a genius comment. Genius. Very cool. I was playing over some piano, playing odd 4-part chord shapes, notes that shouldn't work, but they would lead into another chord pleasantly if played quickly. Oh, that's right, swinging into it. That's kind of like the entire philosophy behind bebop, right? If you were playing, I've played in a few bebop bands, you know, bebop, post-bop, hard bop. I've played all of the repertoire in a previous lifetime, but you know, some of those things that we just talked about it's funny that you mentioned that, Corporal Clog, because we talked about upper and lower neighbor tones. We talked about those upper neighbor tones to outline, even though they have nothing to do with the actual triad, except for each note is 1/2 step up and 1/2 step underneath from each target tone or chord tone. Those, sometimes you have these intervals that don't really relate to anything, but they work because they're so powerful. Those intervals, when you stack 4s, do that, right? So you stack a 4 on top of, under another 4, under another 4, under another 4, if you had all of those strings, and you just keep stacking 4. It's such a powerful interval that if you start stacking them, you can have a lot of fun with those shapes. And Andy Summers, Mr. Summers, learned that if you stack 4s or 5s, that's also a very powerful interval. Right? Sending out an SOS, sending out an so you know those. You can have a ton of fun by just parallel planing those common shapes around. But let's get into that a little bit more in the next couple minutes. Let's just finish up what we're going to do here. And nylon or steel? How long have you been playing the guitar? Romulo. Good morning, Romulo. I've been playing the guitar a fair bit. Nylon. This particular guitar is a steel string guitar, and so we're finishing up. We're going to wrap up at 8:30 Eastern time. So that's 15 minutes from now. Every 15 minutes, I must, because this is my morning ritual for guitar growth. This is a warm-up period for me. This is where I say hello to the guitar every morning, every weekday morning with you at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time for the entire year of 2025 for free right here on Jason Carey Guitar. And you can see that I don't really hold anything back. What the important thing is that we do this together. At least I do this. I know what works for me, and I know I've observed what's worked for others, and I've done a lot of reading and research and development and all that stuff. So, but you know, I still learn every day. am still happy to learn every day. And one of the things that I've learned is it's important to be consistent more than anything. And it's important to remain consistent, show up for the seat time, be here to practice the guitar and do the work. Because unfortunately, you know, no one else can do the work for us, for you, for me, right? And so I'll talk about it like us. It's you and me. And it's you and me, babe. And it is. We can't, no one else can do it. So it's just a really simple truth. You know what I mean? Oh, same shape is used in metalcore a lot. Oh, yeah. Corporal Clegg. Oh, Clegg. So we've got, is that always diminished sounding? And, oh yeah. So there are different kinds of things that you can move around and different, symmetrical systems. So in the augmented system, you would use, 2 or 4 frets. So, boy, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and you almost got me right off the deep end right there. But yeah, so let's keep it basic, and every 2 frets for whole tone scales or hexatonic scales. And then, for inverted diminished, we have the, whole half, or no, whole half, or half step, whole step, whole step, half whole, or the half whole step, right? So we have, those are typically the diminished sequences. Typically every 3 frets the chords will repeat. But like you said, when you have a strong enough intervallic voicing, you can basically do anything you want, because they're very powerful voicings, right? There's RLE, right? For example, right? In as the blackbird in the spring. It doesn't fit what you might expect to hear, but you can do that same kind of thing with other voicings as well that are less powerful. So we'd incorporate the 5s, the root and the 5. This is great for metalcore, you're right. For my fellow metal guitarists, Headshot. I think this is, Headshot. That brings back some Call of Duty days for me. And, but these chords are really great because you can do anything you want with those, right? And where would you? No. There we go to the 4. So. But the trick is to keep all of those things parallel, right? Everything has to move in parallel. As soon as the parallel moves, as soon as the parallel breaks, it's really easy for these 2 fingers to stay rigid, laterally rigid, because, they're stronger fingers. This one is really tough. This one's a little less tough, but you can work it. And then as soon as you get here, it's like, I'll move. The pinky finger says, sure, I'll do whatever you say. Just move me wherever you want. But you kind of got to give it a little personality, right? Give it a little confidence to stand its ground. And the trick is to keep these things parallel, and then you get these really nice, really cool, like Police Sting sort of sounds. And then so you could stack 4s, you could stack 5s, you can stack twos. They're a little harder to get, but then we enter a different kind of guitar playing, right? I was playing in G sharp mixolydian. Yeah, Pantera chords. I realistically try to play 3 times per week. For me, that is consistently playing. That's excellent, right? So I think that the fact that I'm here basically modeling every day at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time doesn't mean that everyone should be doing that. Some people should be doing 7:30 a.m. Eastern time for 3 hours instead of 1 hour, or 8 hours instead of 1 hour. But I'm specifically referring to warm up only, right? Warm up only. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about warm up and then let's learn a bunch of scales and learn a bunch of songs and the warm up really that I'm making reference to is just keeping myself sort of in check, keeping my posture, training my body and my mind to operate as one with the guitar as an extension of that body, of that person. And that includes breath work. It includes maintaining tuning. So tuning for me is a little bit more than just maintaining guitar tuning. So I'm trying to remain attenuated to the guitar because that closeness that you can develop with a guitar or with your favorite dog or pet or your firearm or your basketball or your bow or your car or whatever it is, that we're developing that relationship, that we're deepening that relationship every day. And for me, it's all perishable skill. So I find like every day I have to remind myself to don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to keep your back upright. Oh, that's right. I knew this yesterday. Why am I slouching? Why am I all over the guitar? Why am I not making accommodations and changing legs because I need to remain upright? It's totally, you're totally going to see me do bad habits. While I say one thing, I'm going to do another one, and it's not intentional. We're still programmatically removing those incidental behaviors and trying to get to the point where we become a solidly consistent guitar practitioner. But the most important thing is to enjoy what we're doing. So being mindful of every moment is part of enjoying what I'm doing, right? And so I'm thankful for that. All right, and then not being too caught up in becoming a robot, right? Run like crazy from that. When someone says they want to remove your brain and install a metronome, maybe say, they'll take a rain check on that. All right, so let's get right back to what a great tune. Pantera, you're making me trip right out on that. Bad Trip Incorporated. Pink Floyd did Corporal. Band played the song, that is the title, that is my username, Corporal Clegg. Pink Floyd did Corporal Clegg. Right on, man. Very cool. See what, like us and them, we're talking about like the power of intervallic chords and understanding strength in chordal movement. And that seems to be the theme for today, understanding the strength in numbers, right? But this time in numbers, we're making reference to a major second in the bass, and then a perfect fourth on the top of that. I try to keep my mind in guitar, even if it's just listening to a live stream like this, or make certain music excellent, or a guitar-based book, just to keep the guitar in the forefront. That's a great technique, Michael, M. Fish, Mr. Fish. Those are great things. Those are things that we're all aspiring to do. Is absorbing, the literature of the movement, if you will. So, but we're looking for just a whole step and then a perfect fourth on the top. So let's see what they've done with it. They realize, well, we can move it up a whole step. I don't have to change a whole lot. What if I move it down here? It doesn't really sound like us and them anymore, does it? But when you do tie it to, you can kind of like make a little blues riff out of it. So that makes sense, and it makes a little bit of sense. It kind of helps our guitar sound to get out there a little bit more, a little further out, remain fresh sounding, and a little different enough for a listener's ear while remaining, rooted in tradition. But it's different enough to say, to wake the listener's ear, right? So that's the kind of stuff that intervallic voicings will give us. It will give us access to some new flavors for sure. Then when we can diatonically approach it. So let's say we're in the key of D major, and I wanted to parallel playing the second and then the fourth through D major. I am clear to go up to the second degree of the scale, and then the three. Let's see what that is. Do you think Sid went crazy or Roger was just a big stinky? Yeah, I know it. That's a tough call. I think fame at that level. We were talking about this the other day. It's about what are you going to do to compensate for all of these stressors at life beyond Dunbar's number. What do you do to compensate for living a life beyond Dunbar's number? Take a look at Dunbar's number and then what that means, and how to manage more than 150, relationships in a lifetime. Do you do yoga? Do you stretch and jog? Do you take breaks and guarded time for yourself, guarded resources, or do you drink and drug yourself to death? I know there are both sides of the coin, so that's a wonderful question, and a tough one to answer for me anyway. So I choose life. But anyway, so 2. Then we're moving. If we wanted to proceed through, instead of parallel planing, we can diatonically plane. Donald Mack, hello, brother. Rick, do you enjoy what Chris Cornell did with? You know what? I don't know if I've heard that. I enjoyed everything that Chris Cornell did, and then I sort of, I stopped listening after sort of like Super Unknown. Super Unknown is like in my earbuds. Just great record. And then, the record with Outshined on it, of course, was, it's my wheelhouse, my generation, our generation. But then I really respected Mr. Cornell, really have a great respect for his voice and his skills. Oh yeah, so here we are parallel. We're not parallel planing, but we are diatonically planing the second and fourth intervallic chord voicings through D major. So see here we have, instead of the flat 7, we're going to use the major 7, the root, and then the 4, the major, the root, the 2, and then the 5, and then the root, the 2, and then the 3, and then the 6, and then the root 3, and then the 4, and then the 6, and the root 4, 5, root, and then root 4, 5, what is that? 6, and then 9, and then 7, 1, and then 3. So we have a lot going for us thinking about strength in numbers, right? Strength in numbers means a lot more to me than what I once thought it meant. So again, thank you so much for being here with me today, and for this live stream, for this morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time for 1 hour, and working on my literal morning warm-ups. And I'm glad that you're along for this journey, because this is a great chance for us to really change the world of guitar, starting with ourselves, right? So maybe we'll see you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And until we meet again, I see a couple more comments here. Sorry if I missed something. Mr. Donald Mack, thanks for being here. Do you think Sid? Yes. Bad motor finger. There you go. Thank you. I'm obsessed with intervals. Yeah, me too. At first, they're lines, then shapes, then buildings. Yeah. Amen, brother. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you have a super day. Hope you have a wonderful day. And like I said, until we meet again, I know it's backwards, but happy picking.